Hello again, learning the lingo with Roscoe. So we had talked about all the mushrooms that you're going to buy at the store are the same ones. This one just gets a lot bigger. These have been bred to be white, and they're really meaty. So anyway, this brings us into the Latin binomials that we always talk about out in the field, and that would be to describe the mushroom with Latin. One of them bringing it into the genus, the other one typifying the species. This one belongs to the Agaricus family. The species on all of these is the bisporus, which goes into the actual mechanics of how the spores are distributed, and we'll probably talk about that at some point. But that brings us into how Latin gives us the name. Sometimes when we're out in the field, we're like, well, what the hell? I just can't figure out why this Latin name is so crazy. Well, it actually means something, or describes something, or in some cases it actually identifies the person who discovered it or made it famous or whatever, usually ending with two I's. So anyway, when we're out there, we just want to identify them, because when you see these, you might call them, I don't know, white button mushroom, store mushroom, just a white mushroom. Most people call these portobello. This one's called cremini, the small portobello, cremini, chestnut mushroom, which, you know, that brings up a whole new thing, because, you know, if you've got two names for the same mushroom, that's why the Latin comes in, because probably grandma calls one mushroom that she found out in the woods something, and the next town over you might call it something else, and there could be some mistaking in, you know, if you eat it or what happens or where it's found. So anyway, I thought we'd touch on that, because those things are really important. And you can find the common names for most of these in the Audubon Field Guide by Gary Linkoff. And the funny thing is that those are made up names mostly by Gary Linkoff to give everybody something that they can call, instead of going crazy on Latin. You know, we do the same thing with the bird world. You know, you're not calling corvids by their crazy names. They're you know, they're crows, ravens, whatever. But it's that same thing where we're trying to isolate what we're talking about, so two people know that the mushroom's the same. So anyway, a little touch on the Latin binomial, and we're going to get into some of the actual words and meanings a little bit later on. So anyway, I'm glad you're curious. Stay that way. Appreciate you watching. Thanks.